Excuse me, miss. What's that you're listening to?
Well, it's a podcast. It's all about this couple from England who are in a lifestyle, and they talk about their adventures.
So is that child-friendly then, is it?
No. They say lots of naughty things, and they swear a lot. But would you like to listen?
Get in the gym or to your car. With our advice you could go far. We fuck things up and we make mistakes. We talk about our sexy dates. It's getting hard for this to rhyme. Just as well 'cause it's bed hopping time. Welcome to episode 45 of the Bed Hoppers podcast. My name is Mr. H. Over to my left is
Mrs. H.
And we have some...
Nice guests.
Dewy. Are they nice? I was going to call them special.
Don't call them special.
You've reduced it to just being nice. Hello, nice guests.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Oh, how charming. This is very,
Gosh,
very
you just said hello straight away.
I know.
Yeah, you know.
They're not shy, are they?
No,
It's
really
terrible. So we have with us people that we've talked about before. So we're going to use the code names that we gave them.
No code names. They're special names.
The special names.
Shall we introduce Vanilla Ice?
Yes.
And Lord Voldermort.
Hello.
Well, this is going to go really well. So far they've managed hello.
I didn't even manage hello.
So they're with us today. We're in a seedy hotel room.
This is not CD.
Ooh,
this is
no,
an
it's
executive
nice.
suite.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Did you just go full Yoda then? Very nice this hotel is. Drink some champagne.
A couple of glasses of champagne in, so it
What?
could go either way.
You had 2 glasses.
No.
Well,
What?
this is like we're working on the second, aren't we?
Yeah, this is a work in progress.
Hashtag life goals.
Yeah.
So they're with us today mainly because we trailed it the other day and we felt obliged
badged them
to.
into
Is that
it.
the only reason?
That's it.
You feel special.
Yeah. Well, you've just introduced us.
Well, you had the choice. It was either some foreplay or it was the podcast, and you chose podcast.
I think you'll find the podcast is the foreplay.
It is really.
Oh, I didn't realise it was one or the other.
Wait, the hammer is your penis?
It is, right? So we thought we'd get them on the show, have a good chat with them, and find out a bit about them as well.
Yes.
Because it's good for us to know about them, because we haven't really spoken to them.
It's a good way of finding out more, isn't it?
It is. It's a secret way of getting...
Magic as it happens.
I know, exactly that.
Okay.
So...
Well, you're viewing woman notes, dear, so, lay on, Macduff.
Oh, thank you. It's very kind of you. So we're not talking about anything else that we're doing or anything like that. We're just
No one knows because you kept them to yourself.
Okay. So when this goes out, we will literally be...
We'll be in the future again.
We'll be in the future / the past.
Where cars fly.
No, we'll be in Swingapore, or Swingahore as you called it.
I did call it Swingahore, you're absolutely right.
I know.
So we won't be.
No,
just saying.
these guys will just be in Blighty.
Yeah.
Yes, but I've since found out that it rains a lot in Swingahore, so
It does.
yes.
It's pretty much all it does, I think.
Yeah, I just have to stay in and get drunk.
Which is what you're doing tonight.
Yeah.
How marvellous.
I'm practicing.
Very good. So, guys, how do we meet you? Tell us the story. Come on.
Right. We had talked about exploring the lifestyle, and
You and me. Hen.
yes,
Not me and him.
we hadn't met. Then.
No, I know.
I'm building up to
No,
that.
no,
Oh,
that's
good.
fine. I just thought I should clarify.
Right.
Yeah.
Because this is all about me, right?
Yeah, we do.
It's become apparent. So we talked about it, and we talked about the possibility of visiting clubs. That was something that we thought we'd like to do. The exhibitionism of it, and we didn't quite know how to do that. So I put out a note on Reddit to say we're interested in looking at clubs. Can anyone recommend any good ones? And lo and
Someone
behold,
picked his podcast.
someone came and said, "I know this great podcast."
Yeah, you should listen to this. It's well good.
And
That's a
Tell
pretty
us the praise.
That's a pretty spot on impression, to be fair.
Oh, that's really good, actually.
Yeah.
You've nailed it.
Well, thanks.
And,
yeah, that's one of my skills.
saying, we've reviewed some clubs, have a listen. I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. So we did.
You did.
I did. And then I said to you, listen to these podcasts.
And then I got narky because you kept saying, listen to these podcasts.
I
and
would have
didn't
done the
want
same,
to.
to be fair.
Yeah.
But I was more about just being more informed. And
And I was freaked out.
yeah.
So I didn't want to listen to them.
So were you freaked out by the podcast or the subject matter?
Subject matter.
Yeah.
Because swinging is a weird thing, turns out. Who
Go
knew?
on.
Well, I just think of people in their middle age with pampas grass and
Pineapples or not?
And dirty dogging.
dirty
in car
dogging,
parks.
and then probably all a bit skanky and it just being seedy and horrible.
And so, to come back to it, I said, listen to this podcast, because apparently they're not all like that.
And then, do you know what? The first thing I think I said to you about it was, oh, they sound quite nice. They sound quite normal.
Like us.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And then it turned out, so then we listened to it. You listened to it, I listened to it. And then I went, And I talked to friends about it, because that was something I felt I needed to do to come to my own decision. And then kind of...
Yeah, and then I sent you a message saying, oh, fantastic, thank you for the
little
podcast.
Like little fan.
Bit gushing. I sort of said, it was a sort of road to Damascus moment where I was like, oh, actually, this has been really enlightening, thank you very much. And then...
Creepy.
Yeah, and then you messaged back and said, would you like a coffee? And...
Well, it turns out you were conveniently down the road.
Yes, yeah.
If you lived far away, there'd have been no chance of a coffee.
No, fair.
But yes, and actually what we thought was it was really nice because we could actually meet you and talk to you without it actually being like a social or a meet. It wasn't, it was more of a...
I could ask you, I think...
Find out about the lifestyle and you could inform us on it without actually the pressures of...
Something's going to happen. Yeah, so...
A little fact-find mission.
Right, exactly. So there was a bunch of questions I came with.
We weren't set up to have that pressure, really, so it was quite nice.
Yeah, it was good.
That's a nice little foray into it.
I like
this.
It's not the worst introduction, to be fair.
And then we met you and we saw you and you were mingers. So that's a joke, listener.
I was battling with an immense hangover actually that day. I'd been to a work event the night before.
You had been. You were pretty fucking hanging, in fact.
Thanks.
You covered it well.
Noticed.
Thanks.
Pleasure.
You didn't get close enough to smell her breath. It was terrible, honestly.
Oh my goodness, you are vile.
Well, not as vile as your breath, it turns out.
It's just pure gin by that point.
Well, and then we carried on having more gin. Well, you did.
Yeah, I know, right?
Then we broke up the fight,
didn't
we?
It was
We went all
gin
Jeremy
bar
Carr.
there. Yeah.
It was an interesting evening in a strange pub.
Because it was an afternoon.
Yeah.
But it turned into an evening.
No.
Did it not?
6:30?
That's evening.
Okay, I think we're splitting hairs here.
No, it's fine.
A little bit.
A little bit. So, and then obviously we met.
Yes.
And how's your journey been since? So what's happened? Tell us.
We've mostly just met up with you two.
Yay!
So it's been awesome then.
Yeah. I think the trouble is that we set the bar high. Because you two...
Oh, that's a nice thing to say.
Yeah, I have to say because we're here. But no, but you're nice, you're normal, you're respectful. So it's only been you two that we've met up with thus far, except here's a little bombshell for you live on Podcastington.
You know, we edit this and send it out later, so live is a very definitive
This
term.
is us telling you live. We met up with a lady today
We
at
did.
lunchtime.
Ooh.
Not for sexy times, just to meet her.
And a social couple of
And we met
drinks.
her
How
at
exciting.
Yeah.
Well, I demand an exclusive tell-all via the podcast.
Okay.
There's not a huge amount to tell all,
She's
other
nice.
than she was nice.
Lord Voldermort, you've got to make it sound a lot sexier than that. Yeah.
No, tell her how it is.
It was, we just met for a couple of drinks. We exchanged a few messages on FabKick, and she seemed quite normal. And we thought, oh, okay. So we met up, a few drinks. We sent her a message, and she sent one back saying she'd like to meet us again.
Nice.
There you go.
Excellent.
That's there's not a
that's
huge
it.
amount more to tell. than
But
that,
we were like, oh, should we tell them before? No, we'll tell them on the podcast.
Wow, an exclusive.
I know, right?
I mean, the main result was that she was like actually a real person and turned up. So it's not just the guy sitting at home.
Yeah, as they very often can be.
Yeah, she didn't send us any cock shots, so you know.
Or ask for any pictures or anything. So you sort of think, oh, okay, she might be.
And she met you and still wanted to meet again.
Yeah. No, she seems really lovely.
Yeah,
so, and we've been talking to a couple on Kick as well that we met via Fab.
Yeah.
They seem lovely. They've not done anything lifestyle-y before, but we hope to meet up with them at some point.
Oh.
But they
Trying
seem...
to get diaries aligned and all that.
Well, you realise that Mrs. H sees this as one big vampiric exercise where she feels like she sired you, and therefore you're going on and siring other people, and it's sort of she's somewhere in that chain as like Queen Vampire.
Yeah, you'll notice how we actually had to invite you into this hotel room. I mean, obviously you had nachos, so
yeah. But we didn't know that.
You were going to get it.
When we
didn't know this, so I just invited you in anyway.
Oh, it should be pointed out that that we very nicely dropped the ladies off at the hotel room,
very nice,
so that they didn't have to walk.
No.
And use their own legs.
So chivalrous.
But also, the thing is, we're both exactly. We're both wearing dresses, and turns out at the moment.
Not both of us.
No.
No.
No, that's me and Mrs. H. And it turns out at the minute it's well windy. Therefore, our bums were on show.
Yes.
But I didn't see this.
Oh,
I missed this bit.
Oh, you have to see later.
I know I should have insisted on naked podcasting. I told you it was a thing.
You did.
This is why
you were saying you were so warm? Oh, so warm.
It is. I've been turning up the heat every 3.5 minutes.
This is why I let her turn the aircon off when we got in.
Yeah.
Ah, well done, wife.
Thank you. I'll do a cell 5 later.
Hang on a second. Let's explore the concept of a cell 5.
Yes.
You don't mean you're high-fiving yourself. You mean you're strumming yourself off.
I do not.
With 5 fingers.
I genuinely mean
Five
a cell
fingers
5.
Yeah,
Like
5
a
fingers.
this.
Yes. Thank you.
okay.
Yeah, I'm doing
No, that's a clap.
We don't want the clap.
No. No.
Oh, you're starting to
I know, I sort of was. It's sort of...
Oh.
Now, Lord Voldemort has undone his top 3 buttons and is revealing
The
his
top
chest.
button, I told you, comes undone this. And
Yeah.
How
instant
convenient.
lethargy.
Oh, my trousers just fell off. How terrible.
We saw that guy walking along on the way here.
Well, it was the guy with his hand down his pants.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was.
Man, he was hot. We should have got him back here.
By which she means minging.
Warm.
Yeah, very, very warm.
He could have carried our nachos for us.
With his
Not with-
jogging
I
bottom.
wouldn't want that.
What, we had 2 sets
With
of
his spare
nachos.
hand. He only had one hand down his pants.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure that I want the guy with the hand down his pants offering me nachos.
No.
It's not the best thing to do.
No.
No.
No, it comes with free herpes.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Yeah, this is... Yeah.
I could have used it. I'm nacho, babe.
Oh, nice.
And that you say it's nice. It's because I bought her a badge with that on it.
Ah?
Yeah.
Oh.
Mrs.
All
H.
about the badges.
Yeah, she's all about the badge.
I would like to know.
I thought you said badges for a minute.
Tonight,
Badge.
I'm such a badge muncher, honestly.
I have, in honour of Mrs. H,
Thank
worn
you.
a badge.
You got your badge out.
And
Yeah.
I'm finding it very
Coveted.
attractive.
My
Yes.
feminist badge.
And
badge.
now, gentle listener, she's playing with her badge. I mean badge.
Ah, there I am, rubbing it.
I will stroke that badge later.
Oh, how exciting!
Ooh.
Is that a threat or a promise?
Both.
Little column A, little column B.
Whatever you want it to be.
Mrs. H has, I think, sort of 20 badges now
I do.
on one.
Do I have to try and stroke 20 badges?
Yes, at once.
Darling, that's an
Just
orgy.
all
We're
your
not going
fingers
there
and toes.
tonight.
All fingers and toes. Simultaneously.
Tonight I stroked 20 badges. It was a good night.
Well, I think you've got more badge than jacket now.
It's held together by badges.
In fact, we went shopping for a jacket or a bag that would hold as many badges today.
Yeah, hold badges.
That's the
yeah.
desperate times.
Start
So,
wearing a trench
listeners,
coat
if
soon.
you want to, get yourself a favour, send her badges.
Wait,
No,
I've
no,
been
no, no,
asking
no.
them for weeks to send me Pokemon gifts.
Yeah.
You
Oh.
can't confuse them with badges.
So,
Unless they're
yeah,
Pokemon
yeah.
badges. Do you think there's such a thing exists?
I showed you some yesterday.
Oh,
must be a
awesome.
thing.
But that's, I think that's fine.
We were just trawling
Right.
Etsy looking for
Ladies
enamel
and
badges.
gentlemen, send her Pokemon
Yes,
badges.
I can see this becoming a thing.
You do need to offer a mail order address.
Yes.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
luck with that. We'll send it to your address, guys, and if you could...
Oh, yeah, that's fine. Just let
Yeah,
them
yeah.
all know our address.
That's-
I'm good with that. That's fine.
You will find us. It's
You
fine.
need a big Papa's PO box.
We do. And if anything, we need more merch.
Oh,
More merch.
I'm waiting for the
Oh,
towels.
you and your filthy towels.
Look, everyone wants a filthy towel.
I want a filthy towel.
I've
So
got
where
a
are
filthy
they,
towel.
Straight?
at
Where
home.
are they?
It doesn't. You can't fold it anymore.
Ugh.
Less keen on the filthy towel now. That's what I
I
thought.
was just hoping for that.
Hang on.
Wasn't it going to have pictures of like willies all over it?
Yeah, Willies and
Villies?
Villies. Yes, which
Villies
Villies shall we
all
have?
over it, yeah.
So we shall have many Villies on this
Oh, how
towel,
expensive.
and some vaginas as well.
Oh.
Dicks and
Okay.
fannies.
Dicks and
basically.
fannies.
Yeah.
Don't say
And maybe
funny.
some Babylons.
Fanny,
Fannies.
fannies. some vulvas.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's the right word, though.
It is
It's the right word.
Well, Fanny's not incorrect. It's a slang term.
Yes,
I mean, it's not.
but you know, if you're going to use vagina, you might as well use vulva because
Yeah,
vulva
I
is the
don't know
correct
whether
word.
Fanny is the slang term for vagina or vulva. No one's ever
Really?
confirmed.
Maybe all encompassing. Maybe.
Well, let's try and retain some
And
kind of
fanny
normality
means
on
different
this
things in
and
different
get back
countries.
to
So
what
It
we're
does.
in the
Fanny
States,
pack.
Sorry.
Fanny pack is-
yeah, it's like
yeah.
ass.
For the
right?
American listeners,
Yes.
Yeah.
fanny pack is like a bum bag.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
we call a bum.
But American listeners, you're wrong. Because
But in America,
fanny
bum
is
is a
vulva
tramp.
slash
Well,
vagina.
that is a sweeping statement.
Well, no, on this, I'm correct.
You might manage to alienate a whole.
No, I'm okay with that.
Continent?
Yes.
Yeah, but,
What were you
know,
going to go with?
I'm only on
Well, you
this
told
one
me off for using
episode.
some colloquialisms a couple of weeks ago, which I wasn't allowed to
You've been
use.
told off for many colloquialisms
Yes, I have.
that you're no longer allowed to
No.
talk about
They're
on
on my
the show.
list of words I cannot use.
There are no words for you, Mrs. H. So,
My list
guys,
is getting longer.
Bringing it back to your
bringing
question.
it back to my questions. Yeah. So you've told us a bit about your journey so far, which has led you to this very hotel room.
Yeah, indeed.
And what's in the future? What's your next steps in that journey? And I don't mean the next sort of 45 minutes, you know, because
45 minutes.
I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, we've heard about their exciting meet today with their single female. So I can only assume what's in the future is going to involve her.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Yeah. Yes, we've chatted to a few other people, so that hopefully leads to something. But how these things trickle off and don't lead to anything, so we will see. Other things, we would like to explore clubs.
Yeah. But go with people that we know and like because I'm a little bit scared.
And
Why are you scared of clubs?
Because in my mind, they're full of men in, like, sort
Black.
of flashing cloaks.
Full of men in black.
Yes.
No,
The good guys dressed in black. Remember that.
No,
She means flashers, like
Yeah,
dirty
flasher.
men in masks.
And, like, in my mind...
they wear cloaks.
Oh, I didn't mean that. Anyway, I think I was trying to say
I'm
coats.
picturing Dick Turpin now.
Listeners, they have been plying me with alcohol on an empty stomach. I would just like to say.
I love the concept of telling about a club and there's like people in flashing clothes.
Do you know what? I'll be honest. Actually, that might make me want to go more. But I have imagined, like, the walls are all, like, wet with sweat and cum. And they all smell. This is my mind. Like, honestly, this is what I think sex clubs are like.
Wow, okay.
Actually, we have been to some clubs that
Yeah, but I've
feel
never-
like they are covered in sweat and
Right,
cum.
exactly. And I've never been
You
to
wouldn't
one.
want a black like that.
No.
No, and I've
Jackson
not been to
Pollock.
one, and therefore I'm a little bit terrified. It's all going to be like that. I listened to some of your podcasts. I heard about Rapey Alley. I'll be honest, it wasn't a winner for me.
No, you're right.
Yeah, thanks.
There are some clubs which are not so salubrious, and you're right to have a kind of stereotypical idea in your head of what you might encounter when you go there.
exactly.
So I agree. When we went to our first club, I think I felt largely the same.
But then, you know, when I heard about swingers, I was like, and then it turns out you guys are all right.
Yeah.
And there you go.
You.
The term swinger,
You hate, I know.
I do not like.
I'm going to keep saying it, swinger,
I
swinger.
prefer to refer to ethical non-monogamy because
Yeah.
swinger, to my mind, brings up a whole load of images which I don't want to be associated with.
No.
Hang on. Given some of the language you've chosen to use over the last few episodes,
Yes.
like, how are you not comfortable
What
with
language are you
swinger?
referring to?
Well, let's.
I'm a cunning wordsmith.
Yes, you are a cunning linguist. So some of those words we're not allowed to say anymore on the
Such as?
podcast. Well, I'm not dubbing.
Ah.
Yeah.
How
So
convenient.
well, it's very convenient. So it's interesting that you're hung up on the word swinger.
A terminology of swinger.
Do not
It's
swinger.
got a negative connotation.
It
hasn't
has
it?
got a
For
negative
me,
connotation.
it's
It's dirty.
that Louis Theroux episode we watched.
Yeah.
That's the image when someone says swinger.
It conjures up an image of something that is to be considered derogatory, and it has connotations of illicit kind of horrible background, and it doesn't give you a pleasant image. That it can be high end, and it can be professional, and it can be something that's
What, like a
clean
job?
and well.
Yeah, it does sound a bit like that, doesn't it?
It's a little bit. If someone said, "Are you a swinger?" I can't help but think they will jump to an assumption
yeah.
and,
Oh, no, absolutely.
and judge you unfairly on that
Yeah.
term.
I can't hear the term without thinking of Austin Powers.
Yeah, baby.
But I can't look in the mirror and not think of Austin Powers,
Well, we
to
knew
be fair.
it.
There is a little bit
You
of
are a
Austin
little
Powers
Austin Powers,
in
aren't you?
me, and a little bit of me and
Yeah,
Austin
I
Powers, I
agree.
I
suspect.
see that outfit you're wearing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like a velvet suit.
yeah, I know.
Yeah. Oh, behave. So I think it's one of those. Just
I mean, getting back
terms-wise.
to what Vanilla Ice was saying about the clubs, I understand why she has this kind of opinion in her head that going to a club may not be a great experience. Because
You need a hazmat suit
No,
to go to
the
some of
thing
those
is,
clubs.
I think to be
There's
clear,
probably
I
somewhere
would,
that's part of it.
Yeah.
I would like to go, but I'm quite nervous, about going, and therefore I would rather go with some people who had a bit of experience, and then we could have a laugh. And if something came of it, then lovely. But if it didn't, then you could all go away and go, "Did you see that cum dripping down my wall?"
I do think it's a shame though that that's the impression that you get just thinking about clubs and a lifestyle. And it's a shame that you don't make an association that going to a club is going to be a great experience. And you can't help but think, oh, it's going to be seedy and there's going to be cum dripping down the wall. And
It depends on the club, though.
it does.
So, and I think
Unfortunately, we've been to some clubs which don't do
which
that.
Don't have cum dripping.
yeah,
Not
it's a
to
bit
my
like
knowledge,
Ghostbusters 2
no.
with slime dripping down the walls. It's like that.
No, there
But-
are some very nice clubs that are very very clean and very well presented, and one of them we've returned to several times because we love it so much.
Well, and sort of places like Vanilla Alternative,
Yes,
and we'll be
exactly
heading back there
Yeah.
at some point soon again. And
Let's not talk about the fact that we were invited to Vanilla Alternative with you, and I couldn't go, and
I know.
and poor old Voldermort was a little bit sad.
Yes, he was.
Yeah,
I was doing a sad face there.
Yeah, you
it's
can see that. It was a sad face.
gentle listener, he's making a fake crying face here. It looks very sad.
I thought it was his sex face. Sorry.
Really?
Oh, well, they're kind of similar. Oh, now you mention it.
Hold that thought.
Yeah.
I'll let you know.
So clubs might be in the future.
Yes.
Single lady might be in the future.
Yes.
Single
What else?
ladies,
New
I
couple.
suppose, to elaborate on that, exploring with ladies.
Yeah, because it's something that I would like to have more of a chance to kind of learn and try out and
Embrace
Right.
your bi side.
right, exactly. And Voldemort is very encouraging, and he's not a jealous type. So although I don't intend to go off, I wouldn't want to be with someone just with a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it would be really nice to learn stuff with them,
Mm-hmm.
and try stuff out, which I've not had the opportunity to do before. So
Do you see Voldemort being a part of that?
yes. I definitely wouldn't want to. Same as what you guys have said in previous podcasts and stuff. Always being in the same room
Yeah.
together and checking in, and that's something that you've always done, and that's something we've done when we've been with you, and that's something that I would always hope to continue. But it would be quite cool to try something and have him involved too, if you want.
Yeah. Sounds all right.
Oh,
I suppose.
Yeah, it sounds okay. I mean, yeah.
But no, seriously,
What a hardship.
I'm quite happy for you to have that opportunity, I think, without being overly involved. I mean, if it, however it presents itself. But
How
yeah,
do you
I know
feel?
that
Do you not feel a little bit jealous about that?
No, not really. We've talked about the idea of single men. I'm not opposed to the idea. I suppose the thing about single ladies, it's something that I can't really offer. So if that's something that you want,
Interesting. Yeah.
then I can't give that. So it's nice to be able to.
I would just
you
like to
have the
say that
opportunity.
you're lovely on your own. You know,
Okay,
I don't
no,
like.
no, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not
But
not like looking.
yeah, whereas actually with a single guy, the dynamic's different, and as much as
Yeah, there's direct competition because you both have the same working
yeah,
parts.
exactly. And so I would assume I could offer the same or better, hopefully. But yeah, whereas it's not the same dynamic. So yeah, no, I mean I'm quite comfortable with the idea.
How do you feel about more people being involved?
Like an orgy.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of okay
that's-
with that.
Yeah, I think,
Yeah, is that enough
Right,
that?
let's organise a bed hoppers orgy. Right, everybody. We're
You
gonna,
wait, this
yeah.
hotel will be built at last.
43 Acacia Avenue. We're going to be there on the 29th. Come on down.
That hen party we saw downstairs.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Were they hot? I didn't see the hand
Well, I
party.
think perhaps the guy with his hand
Well,
up.
do you know, some of them are all right.
Just one of them.
There were a couple.
Well, we'll just take a select few.
Yeah, just a select.
Well, you could go and vet them.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Hey, you guys.
So, my next serious question, which is not on the list, but I feel obliged to ask because it is that week.
Oh, you're going off topic.
I'm going off topic. Well, it's not unusual for me. Who is the sexiest Avenger?
Are you kidding me?
No.
You're asking me
Yeah.
seriously.
So you
who's
put this on
the sexiest
Twitter
Avenger?
about, is this about man crush or
Well, no.
just,
Well, Mrs. H put on about man crush for me.
Well, I did because we had this very serious debate last night, and I said,
Was
well,
it a masturbate?
It
was a
not,
minor
because
debate.
there's only two of us in the room, so it was not a.
No, it was in a
masturbate.
restaurant.
Yes, but we didn't invite them to.
There was.
So you didn't masturbate in the restaurant?
No, I didn't masturbate. I mini debated.
Sadly, no,
Did you use the
Turkish tapas environment. It didn't seem appropriate. However,
There was a very creepy family in that restaurant,
Oh
I have
my
to say.
God.
And I'm going to do.
Family, the
Weirdest.
Well, so and apologies,
very,
American
very,
chums.
very
So it's
strange
American
dynamic.
dad and his two children.
Not like the cartoon.
Wait, he was American.
No.
Are you sure he was American?
He was American, yeah.
He spoke 5 languages.
Yes, but he was American.
He kept telling everyone.
Yes, so
It
he
was one of these
Earshot.
languages he spoke American.
Well, yes, but
Mrs. X
okay.
got really confused there.
yes, it was English, dear.
American English.
He looked to me
But-
Swedish. I don't know.
But he was so
Weird.
one of the kids spilt a drink, and he was like, "Accidents happen. Accidents happen.
Daddy's
Don't
not
worry,
annoyed.
Daddy will clear it up."
Ooh.
Yeah, and
We were
so,
messaging each other like, "Is this
Indoctrinating this
weird?"
So I was messaging Mrs. H pictures of Pennywise from
Pennywise the
it.
clown.
It needs to float. It needs to float. And then he was
very
like,
strange.
"Daddy loves you.
And he was
Daddy
like,
really
"There's
loves you."
nothing you cannot tell Daddy. Like,
Yeah,
this
and
is a creepy. He had an entire bottle of red to himself as well.
I
I don't know
Yeah.
how they
And
got
you
Your
were-
that.
you
Voldemort
were
can't
jealous?
drink red. He becomes
Why?
a right twat.
Oh really?
A little bit. Yeah.
well,
what would you say?
What if you were drinking
no
red?
comment.
is there a level of twatness that we can accelerate to? Is it
after-
100% or the like 85?
It's a
It's
right
the point
twat.
where I have tried to leave him. Not leave him like
Whoa, that was
relationship.
harsh. Whoa.
No, like leave him like where he is.
Next thing it'll be, you'll be silencing him by placing a pillow over his face while he sleeps. He's drunk too much red wine.
No,
Shh.
Depends.
Forever sleep.
Yeah.
Things are taking a very dark turn on
They
the Bed
feel
Hoppers
very-
podcast
Stop
today.
that.
Yeah.
You know what?
I
That's
really like
because you
red
were
wine
talking
too.
about like creepy families.
Darling, put that bottle of red away.
I like red wine though.
Yeah, but still no.
I don't think it likes you, from what I suspect.
Yeah, quite well, I thought.
No, I disagree. Yeah, but anyway, moving
Yes,
on.
good,
What?
good,
Who-
good to
who
know.
won
So,
now?
yes, who is the hottest Avenger?
Oh,
Oh, I'm going to answer this.
Are you?
It's Tony Stark.
Is your answer the only one that's acceptable?
Is
Yes.
this the
Yes,
hottest
right.
Avenger or in the Marvel Universe?
I'll go with Marvel Universe. Let's go with.
can I just say?
I know everyone's going to say
I
Thor,
haven't
but
watched
no.
any. But,
There's no spoilers here. Spoiler
but,
free
no,
zone.
no, no. I mean, I haven't watched any
Why?
because films. But anyway, I don't like films. I could
But
be watching
it's the
like 5
Avengers.
Jeremy Carls in the time it takes to watch film. Anyway,
It's the same amount of time.
yeah, I know,
yeah, that
but
was
I
the
get
point.
to see through
And
more.
the films won't what your
But
brain.
Interesting.
But
Uh,
I do like. Wait,
Big butts and you cannot
sorry.
lie.
I do like the guy who's in The Greatest Showman.
Hugh Jackman.
He's lovely. He's
Hugh
an Avenger,
Jackson.
isn't he?
So he,
No, well, not.
he was Wolverine.
He was Wolverine.
Yeah,
So he's
see,
not-
I like it. See, I
I
like
think he's a
him
bit showy
singing.
with his jazz hands. He's
Okay,
like,
He's a bit
can I just say?
veiny.
I have
Right.
annoying
what about Tom
vibrato.
Riddles? Tom Riddlesworth? Tom Riddles?
No, you're thinking of Tom Riddle
Hiddlesworth.
from.
Hiddlesworth.
Yeah, you're thinking of
Loki.
Loki, yeah.
No, Tom Riddle is from.
No,
Harry
I'm
Potter.
thinking of Tom Hiddleston.
You're thinking of
Hiddlesworth.
Hiddleston.
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 Anyway,
Loki.
I like
He's
The
not
Greatest Showman.
Sorry, who? What?
She means
So,
Hugh, Jack-
right.
Hugh
I
Jackson.
like
Wolverine.
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackson.
Yeah.
Him.
I've got a
Him.
soft spot for Big Dave, who plays Drax the Destroyer.
Dave Bautista.
Well,
Dave
is
Well, you
Bautista.
would-
is
Well,
this
yeah.
because you have a bit of a wrestling background?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, I
Yeah.
can see that.
Who
He's
was the
pretty
greatest
funny.
wrestler of the 80s?
This is the
the
greatest
80s.
Of the 80s.
Oh, it's an impossible question, but probably Ric Flair.
Woo!
No, The Rock.
That
he
was
wasn't
in the
allowed to
90s.
rock.
Yeah.
Oh, I love The Rock.
No,
The Rock's amazing.
Would you
Yeah,
not go
but
Randy
90.
Savage? See, I think Randy Savage is.
It's you can't. It's an impossible question.
We
I
were-
couldn't even go top
We were
5.
talking the other day, weren't we?
Of the
about
80s.
How it was one of the first times I'd seen Voldemort cry. Was probably the first time I'd seen him cry was when.
It's embarrassing.
Oh, sorry. What's his
Had you
name?
had some
Started down
wine?
this path.
When what's his name? The wrestler died.
Oh.
Eddie Guerrero.
Oh,
Guerrero. That was
he's a little
sad.
bit weepy now.
That was sad.
What's that?
It was sad, but also I
Jake
was
the
like,
Snake made me cry quite a lot too.
not the spice.
He's-
Girl.
She's
Isn't
like,
he still
also,
alive?
I could be watching
have you seen the
Jodie
Yes.
Comer.
documentary? Yeah.
Little
So, yeah, his Hall of Fame speech. That was
Yeah.
quite emotional.
Oh, Toxinosh.
So Tony Stark is the hottest Avenger. End of.
No.
No.
I've had to
Um,
This
listen
is the
to
Maybe
greatest
Rocket Raccoon.
show.
Yeah. No,
Oh,
yeah.
Rocket Raccoon.
I've seen the tail. I've seen the tail on Twitter.
Wow, that's different. So who's your hottest Avenger, Mr. H?
Ooh. Are we
You're allowed
talking-
to say Tony Stark. We won't judge you.
No, wait.
No,
Well,
I
I
did
did.
ask who your
Wolverine.
celebrity male crush might be.
Well, I took the Facebook which Avenger am I most like, and apparently it's Tony Stark.
yeah, but
so I'm
also
prepared to
it
go with
said you
that.
were like
Nailed it.
12 or something.
It said that I looked that I was 19.
Yeah, listener,
Without-
I didn't inform you.
Yeah, without the beard.
And then without the beard, you don't look like Tony Stark.
Yeah, I know. So it's like it's a
6 of
fine
1,
balance.
half dozen.
I know, right?
It's a precarious situation.
it
I should
is-
move on to the next question.
Yeah,
shall we?
yeah, move on.
Okay.
Tony Stark. End of. Next.
Wolverine.
Next song.
Big Dave.
So we've had an interesting round of
Nobody
opinions.
said Chris Pratt though.
I
Well-
don't even know who that is. I
Oh, Star Lord.
yes,
But
is
Chris
she-
Pratt.
So,
Yeah, you're not really
so
Chris
you've
Pratt.
answered her. I don't even watch it by giving her more information about stuff she's not
Because I
even
was
watched.
so aghast that she hasn't. Anyway,
Oh,
fine.
come on.
All right.
I'll
Well
educate you
enough
with the
now.
ways of Chris Pratt later.
Thanks.
I have no idea
Whilst
now.
I'm sorting out a badges.
Right, bring it back on track. So,
Okay.
so one of the ways, obviously, we talked about earlier about how we met. It was through Reddit. So I'm keen to explore your knowledge of the depths of
Oh, I like that.
Reddit.
It's really
I'm
easy.
going to let Wolverine answer that because Wolverine is not Wolverine. What was the Voldemort?
Somebody has Wolverine on the. Well, I was going to say brain, but it's
Yes, I
clearly.
You've upgraded him
Well,
from
I'm gonna grow
Voldemort
some
to
large
Wolverine.
sideburns.
I don't understand it, and it's all on your account, really.
Well, I can also interject here before he gets involved with his very waffling answer, no doubt, about Reddit. Reddit.
It's going to mainly be big titty goth girlfriends.
I don't understand Reddit.
It's just confusing,
It's
isn't it? Right.
so
So there's like all
confusing.
these
So many
threads.
levels of this and that. And, I can't.
Ah.
And then it comes up with little things like so much empty. Like you're being so sassy, Reddit, and you don't even know what I was looking for.
Yeah.
I was just trying to look at someone's
But-
big cock, but I can't.
So
I'm sure there's
I
like
do like
big cocks. That's not better. There's
hot
definitely.
chicks with tattoos.
That's a good one.
That is
Yeah.
a good one. But see, from my other, like, me being the other side of me, it's got some quite good historical things. But I don't really want historical
It's
and
literally got
sex, like,
everything.
follow. So if I see, like, a hot chick with tattoos and then something about the war, I'm kind of like, ooh, I don't think these two things
Oh,
go
because of
together.
what you've subscribed to
Right,
in your
exactly.
stream. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It's a very
I'm kinda not okay
convoluted
with
Yeah, I've got two
platform.
accounts. One,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
so-
I don't understand it.
One for what and one for what?
One for like sex stuff and one for
Sex stuff.
One for cocktails, wrestling, and that's it. I think. Yeah, so.
Cocktails and Wrestling, which sounds like a great film.
It has the occasional interesting Pokemon thread on there, which
You say interesting.
Yeah, apart
Yeah.
from that video I
Okay.
sent you the other day.
yeah, that was weird.
What was that?
It was just weird.
Yeah,
Don't get that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Ooh,
Sirens
we're
going.
not allowed to pay attention to the
Oh,
sirens.
now they know we're
but-
recording
we're
in the
not.
Bronx.
So there's a lot of shit going on outside, and there's a ton of sirens. And what you won't have heard of, gentle listeners, we did a pre-recording recording where we all tested our voices, and we talked a lot about.
See if they work still.
Yeah, and all our voices were working.
Woo!
Yes, thank
Ooh,
you.
That was a bit wrestly.
It was a bit Ric Flair-y, yeah. Yeah, it was good. It was, yeah, I enjoyed
And
it.
then there was an annoying siren.
Well, there's sirens going off in the
And
background.
then Mr.
so-
H said, don't mention the sirens. We've heard some sirens. Turns out we mentioned them.
Yeah, that's okay.
Well
Don't
done
worry about
us.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
So, it happens in the
Reddit.
Do you want
background.
to talk any more about Reddit?
I do want to talk about Reddit.
go on.
I'm intrigued actually by Reddit. Reddit is a whole plethora. For those of you who don't know, Reddit is It's like
I'm excited to hear this explanation because I don't understand.
Like a vortex of weird, right?
it is a little bit of a vortex of weird.
It's got literally everything on, I think, hasn't it? I mean, that's it. If there's somebody interested in it, then there's a subreddit for it. And if there's lots of people interested in it, then there's lots of subscribers and there's lots of traffic on that particular sub. But other than that...
But it has arrows and things and
That's just
trending
that-
things going
That's
up
like
and down.
thumbs up and thumbs down on Facebook.
And then you
So-
click on something and it takes you to another level of something else, and before you know it, you're down a rabbit hole.
That's the internet.
of
Yes.
Yeah, that is the internet.
Yeah, I think.
You've encountered Wikipedia before, right?
Let's not go down that road.
So the thing is, I think what I would say about Reddit is the way that we kind of started all this off when we were kind of refinding our own sexuality and stuff is we thought we might like to take some photos. So we started taking photos, Rudy photos, not just any old photos.
Rudy photos.
Rudy photos.
Rudy photos.
Aw.
And we put them on Reddit, on the, what's it called? Something Gone Wild or something?
Yeah, different ones, but
Yeah. And then it was from there that we kind of got a bit
it's
more...
back to sort of exploring that exhibitionism.
It was really
thing,
nice,
so,
like, and we still do it now. It was sort of taking the more erotic photos
Yeah.
rather than the, you
Porny
know, porny
stuff.
ones. I have to breathe in for all the photos.
You mean breathe
You
out?
choose to...
No, what?
Well, no, because breathing in technically expands your ribcage, so you look a bit bigger.
Yeah, but my stomach is smaller.
So, but if your
So if you breathe,
cage expands, does it in relation to your stomach? make
so
your
if
stomach
you
smaller?
breathe out, then you have less oxygen in your stomach, and therefore your stomach is smaller. But if you breathe in,
tensing as well,
Yes.
I think.
Oh yeah,
Anyway,
a certain amount of
yeah.
tensing, and you
this
sort
has
of
got very
say-
technical for a
So
bed hoppers
pedantic,
podcast. I know.
fine. So,
Yeah.
Yes, sorry.
Anyway, so we started taking some photos, which was nice, and putting them on there. And then it was from there that you sort of said, "Ooh, does anyone know about sex clubs?" And
Well, I think that was
someone
it. I
went,
suppose it was...
"Oh yeah, listen to my podcast."
Why do I sound like Mickey fucking Mouse? Hey everybody, come listen to my podcast, This is the best podcast that you can talk about swinging on.
Although we don't call it swinging because we like to call it ethical non-monogamy.
that's exactly it.
You've got a bit of an edge there that's no longer Mickey Mouse. It's gone into a weird, strange, like evil clown.
Reminded me of
just
the
saying,
kid
I'm
in
not-
Sparky's Magic
I'm
Piano.
not doing my threatening, the voice I threatened.
What voice are you doing?
I was going to do this, wasn't I?
So this
We
is.
agree was not sustainable
Yes.
for a podcast.
I don't think the Mickey Mouse voice is...
No.
I hope not.
That could be totally sustainable for me. I could do that all the way.
Great.
Right, yeah, go on.
So we found the Mickey Mouse Sex Club Reddit. Fine.
Yes.
So yeah, an
would be
extension
one.
of the exhibitionist photos was the exhibitionism of being watched, I suppose, and then that
Yeah,
back to the earlier question.
right.
So,
Settle
so
that.
one of the things that you want to explore, I guess, down the end of the road is to be in a club and have a level of exhibitionism in front of other people.
Yes.
Yeah.
It sounds like there's a voyeuristic kind of path there for you.
Yeah, I think I quite like that.
It's interesting.
And Reddit subs, any things that you'd recommend?
Reddit sub.
Right, sub.
That's,
a
so
sub.
that's like
yeah,
the when it's like
like
an
a
offshoot,
page.
like a sort
Yeah.
of.
Oh,
For
the
example,
confusing
theme.
ones.
tentacle porn, for example.
Tentai. It's
Hentai. Yes.
no,
No, tentai.
Tentai. Oh.
It's like a portmanteau of hentai
wow.
and tentacle
Yeah.
porn. Yeah.
Wow. Okay,
And that's the official one. There you go. Just search that, and it won't
Tentai.
go. Oh wow, so much empty.
Guaranteed.
That also in the Mickey Mouse. books.
Every time I search anything, Reddit,
What
it
would I
says
recommend?
that.
So judgy.
Chicks with Chucks. That's probably my favourite, which is hot
I like-
girls wearing Converse All
I
Stars.
like the girls with tattoos.
Hot chicks with tattoos.
Yeah,
It depends what you're into. Really, there's something for everybody.
it's made me get a new tattoo.
It has. We've seen this tattoo.
You have.
We liked it. We enjoyed it.
It hasn't.
So you're
actually
saying
made
that
me-
Reddit is a good thing?
No.
Well,
I like it. I like
I
it.
would agree with you, Mrs. H. It is
There's
quite
swingers
confusing.
stuff on
It's
there.
very
though.
sprawly, isn't it?
There's
The
some quite good
platform.
swingers pages though.
We don't call it swingers.
No,
we
but
have
that's what the
discussed
page
this.
is called. So
Yeah.
I don't doubt there is a
And-
plethora of great information out there. I just
yeah.
personally find it as a platform extremely confusing to
Okay.
navigate. Thank you.
Yeah, it's like
But it's not.
Motion carried.
I tell you what, though, it's not as complicated as
Instagram. That's
No.
the
Twitter.
Can you
Fab.
manage that?
Fab.
what the
Fab
Oval-
swingers.
Oh, we've talked about Fab multiple times.
Thank you.
Fab's
No,
not
Fab.
complex.
None of these
no,
things are
no,
complicated.
it's not
You're
complicated.
giving it due
it's
credence
just
when it's
a
not due.
bit
It's not
rubbish.
complex at all.
Well, I think the first thing with Fab is that the font is fucking terrible.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I mean,
And like,
yeah.
it looks like I made it in the 80s.
Yeah.
Exactly
Maybe it
that.
was made in the 80s.
Exactly
I,
that.
I feel like I'm
and
good.
I will go with
I was gonna
90s,
say
but
Google
yeah.
it,
Yeah.
Alta Vista, probably.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was going to say, you won't find us on Alta Vista.
Hey,
Streets.
check out the Bed Hoppers MySpace.
MySpace.
You know what? We've got a MySpace for our wedding back in the day.
MySpace still exists.
Yeah, it
But you're
does.
not
does it?
pale teenagers anymore. You don't need MySpace.
Hang on, what are you saying? We're very loyal listener, very young, right?
We can
Not
back
not
that
in
up.
a weird pervy
Very
way.
pale.
Yes,
still,
they're both older than 16 listeners.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
18.
Yeah.
All this should.
So where is
Yeah,
your
this would
very
be wrong.
rambly subreddit question
Well,
going?
it was just
go
an
on, go on.
The
interesting...
question is like Reddit.
And Big Titty Goth Girlfriends.
Yes, they are obviously so. So I think one of the things is that quite often Reddit gets left out as a place to explore things about lifestyle. And actually there is a bit of a community
I've
there.
chatted to a few people on there, yeah. So, yeah, and like certainly swingers wise, there's a few swingers. No, but the subset is called
Swingers.
r/swingers, so it'll be confusing otherwise.
She's talking parcel tongue now.
And
It will open a secret
but there's
door in
lots
this
of-
hotel room.
No, he'll just get a snake out.
there's lots of people that ask
I'm hoping
questions
for that
that are quite useful on there, I think, as well. So people ask questions and then you get lots of answers on it. So about, whatever it might be, lifestyle questions. And so it's quite useful in that respect, I think. People probably find it. Yeah, there's a load of shit on there, so don't get me wrong. But
I think it's one of those places where people often go as a first point of call if they want to find out about the
well,
lifestyle.
that's what we
and-
did. And, hello, we're here. So.
And
Hi.
it clearly worked.
who knew?
But we sort of lurk. Well,
I
so
suppose
we.
I should thank Reddit, really, then.
Yeah, because you get to meet us.
Yes, this is
Oh,
true.
I'm
Yeah.
lucky.
Well,
Yeah, no,
I think
I am. Very
Yeah,
lucky.
yeah, really.
Even though I didn't
lucky.
actually look at anything on Reddit.
I know. Well,
we'll
you.
show you the 10 time.
Yeah, it's fine. You'll enjoy
Okay,
that.
cool.
Yeah,
I'll
to
look
be
forward to
honest,
that.
I'm kind of seeing it now.
Are
the
you?
hentai thing.
Yeah, see,
Yeah,
it's a
love
thing,
it.
right?
Yeah, I showed my friend the other day. She wasn't getting it.
No.
I mean, we've taken another segue, but I mean, I like tentacle.
But that's
porn,
probably
just
also a
saying.
feed on Reddit segues.
I didn't know that was a thing until Mrs H told me. Had a look and was like, okay, I can't.
Yeah,
Tentacle porn.
I really like the tentacle porn.
That's
Anyway,
why she makes me dress up as Zoidberg all the time, even though he has no tentacles.
I
So
don't even know who you're talking about. So yeah,
okay,
whatever.
I did.
Charmer.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're not going to go down that road.
It's not Jeremy Kyle, is it?
No.
No. So.
Although,
No, can I just
actually,
say, I don't just watch Jeremy Kyle. I do like a good documentary. Louis Theroux, yes.
Yes, the Italian.
And I do like a good
Something
documentary.
about documentary about murderers. You quite like those.
I do like that, and I just love a kind of, just a documentary about family history and DNA and all that kind of thing. I love it.
Well, I'm going to discuss you all now. Jeremy Kyle, I actually find a little bit attractive.
What? Oh.
A little bit.
Are you serious? Are you actually?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
imagine
yeah.
he's not really
There's-
a proper dick.
There's
He's just
something
an
weird
act.
about him.
Do you
that
think?
Makes me a
I
little
don't
bit
think
like.
he can be that much of a bellend in real life.
I
mean,
think he is.
I quite like his
Oh.
arrogance.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
But I would also say that Louis Theroux is a bit of a secret crush for you.
I do
Oh,
like Louis.
yeah, but
Theroux.
he's
Yeah, I
totally
do.
the opposite.
Yeah.
It's
Like, so Jeremy Kyle, but Louis Theroux, oh.
Yeah. And who was it the other day that I said? Conan.
Conan. Mrs H has recently discovered Conan O'Brien.
Oh, right.
I don't know
Not
who
the
this
barbarian.
is.
No.
No.
What is best in
The
life?
chat show host in America. Man, that guy is funny.
Well, there we go.
I, don't
I
know
do
who
like
that
someone.
is.
We went down a very dark, not Reddit feed, but a very dark YouTube feed.
There's probably a Reddit feed for who fancies.
Yesterday,
Conan.
you made me watch 40 minutes of Jenna Marbles talking about her 3 or 4 fucking
But
greyhounds.
those dogs, though. Anyway.
She was almost in tears.
Well, you made us watch that thing yet you were like, oh, Mrs H cried proud. Me and Voldermort watched it and went, what?
Yeah. Kitbull.
Didn't get it.
Yeah, it was okay. Sad.
Yeah.
But we weren't bawling our eyes out.
No, but
To be
just
honest, I wasn't even that sad.
heart of stone.
Brilliant. Thanks. Anyway, moving on.
Swinging rock of lead.
So, moving away swiftly from Reddit before we descend down a much darker path.
Yes.
One of the things that we thought was worth talking about was a bit about religion.
Yes.
So, Vanilla Rice,
Yes.
in fact, one of the first things you said to us was that you were quite religious.
Yes.
How have you reconciled being in the lifestyle and being religious, if at all? In fact, It's great. Everyone's just had a glass of champagne and poured it not only in front of my microphone. No, it's
Can I
fine.
just say I didn't have any?
No, it's fine. I
They
understand.
did it all really quietly.
They all did it really quietly. Then you
I'm
all,
just being really noisy now.
you all university put your glasses in front of my microphone. And so we're just going to take a moment while we open a bottle. And by we, I mean Lord Voldermort. No pressure,
Just got
mate.
my saber out and slice it.
Okay, so
It's not a euphemism.
It really is.
Wait, Voldemort didn't have a lightsaber. You're
No,
mixing your...
that's how you...
What?
Champagne? No.
Yes.
yeah, but you're mixing your.
It is? You're crossing genders.
Why are you talking like the maple bacon dog again?
Ooh, we had maple
Hey.
bacon from Aldi the other day.
The maple bacon
It
kind?
smelled really weird.
You're talking about Ultimate Dog Teas, of
Yeah.
course, which is amazing.
Dogging.
Thank you.
No, I'm talking about an amazingly cute dog, but it's on the internet called, and you need to Google this. It's called Ultimate Dog Teas, and this dog is the
Sounds
cutest dog you
not
will
like the
ever
kind of
see.
thing I want to Google.
No, it's
But
really
I didn't
But then I said,
realise till
since
you
you met
guys
you, my
explained
Google
it.
history is...
Yeah, right.
This
And
dog
I
is
didn't
being
realise dogging
teased.
was like other people. I thought it was just people watching you until you guys explained it.
No, it's very much a level
I
of
think it
interaction.
can probably be
Well,
what you like.
It
Yeah.
can be whatever you want, but if you open a window,
Okay, so sorry. Back to your question.
Yes.
Which was
religious.
how do I
Reconcile religion with lifestyle.
Okay, so I needed to really think about this and.
But actually, before we go any further,
Do it.
tell us a bit about your religious background.
Okay, so
To give us some context.
To give you some context. Okay, so I am a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in the church, and then I would say I probably, although I was still called myself a Christian, I wasn't acting as one. Wasn't really. I believed in God, but I didn't go to church and stuff for a while. And then about 13 years ago, I guess, I found a church and found what's called a house group. So a like little small group where you kind of go and meet up and talk about stuff and pray. And that sort of changed my life. And I very much, I know it sounds franky and, for people that don't follow it, but I fell in love with God again. And I think Voldemort has dealt with it very well, because when we first got together, that wasn't a part of me, really. And from that, I have then gone into being full-on Christian. So when we were talking about this lifestyle, it was something that I really needed to think about. I needed to talk about. I needed to pray about how I thought, would God judge me?
Mm-hmm.
Would I be breaking my marriage vows, which I made in front of God? As well as the normal stuff that I'm sure most people feel, which is, is this going to fuck up my relationship, this, that, and the other. I think what is important to say at this point is that I am quite liberal in all my views, political and religious and general lifestyle.
I should point out, on our first
do
meeting, you gave me a bollocks to Brexit sticker.
Yeah.
We had an international sticker exchange.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, fucking Brexit.
Back to religion.
But I'm part of a group called Christians at Pride. And as you can probably tell, it's Christians at Pride. And it's at Gay Pride. And it is probably the most important thing I feel I've ever done as a Christian, which is walking as part of the Pride Parade. I've done it for the last few years. And it's just saying, do you know what? God loves you. You are created in God's image. You are who you are meant to be. And for people who are transgender, or for people who have been kicked out of the church, or who have felt they are not welcome, actually, seeing us there, what I feel should be is that people look at it and go, oh, there's a religious group, a Christian group. Yeah, well, of course they'd be there. But actually walk in the streets with the sign saying, you are created in God's image. Actually, I have had people crying. I have people saying thank you. And one person, I just saw them crying at the side, and I sort of went over and I gave them a hug. I was like, are you all right? And this person said, this is what I needed to hear. And so many people have been hurt by the church, and so many people have been hurt by religion, and that is not how I believe God. Sorry, it's all gone quite deep, but
No,
that's
fine.
not the way that I see God is love, and we are all created in God's image, and none of us choose who we fancy, none of us choose who we fall in love with, and you know that God celebrates love. God is love, and that's really important for me, and it's really important for me to say to all the people out there, you are who God created you to be, and actually God wants you to love yourself, and that's really important. So for me to reconcile this, going back to your original question, sorry for my waffling, I needed to think about it, I needed to pray about it, and actually I'm not cheating on my husband. This is something we are doing together. This is something that and I know that some people listening will disagree, and I'm okay with that, because that is the nature of the beast. But it's something that we have chosen to do together. Voldermort is not religious of any type, and that's something that has been fine.
Never a sentence that anyone thought they would hear.
Voldemort. But the thing is, I'm trying to use his code name. So I think that noise you can hear, by the way, is Voldemort's drink.
Sorry.
Yeah, so I needed to think about how I felt about it without anyone else's influence. And I think that I don't want to lie. I think that's something really important, and I wouldn't lie to Voldemort. Voldemort.
We could turn you into a bat.
You guys
can't.
Well, why did you give him this name? It's very complicated.
Because he's he who must not be named.
Oh, there is that.
There is a further reason which we explained to you outside of that, which is very, very well. In fact, there's two reasons, the likes of which I can't reveal here because it's far too obvious. However, listeners, know that it wasn't without its just cause.
And his name.
Yeah.
It's because he has a massive snake.
Boom, boom. So, yeah.
And what was that? That boom boom thing?
Yeah, that's the thing, right?
Well, if it was, it wasn't very well executed.
What's that?
You mean like it's sort of boom?
Yeah, but like, isn't...
Oh, I thought it was in sync.
Yeah.
But what I would say as well, it has been really good for you to reconcile your bisexuality with your faith as well.
Yeah.
To be able to talk about it. And that's one of the biggest takeaways from, starting this journey for us, just what it's done for our relationship. So being able to talk about things, have conversations with us and with you guys as well, because we've had lots of quite deep chats.
And my best friend as well.
Yeah.
She is aware of what we are doing, and she is a churchgoer, and we have had lots of conversations from the God side, because I don't really have anyone else that I can talk openly to about it, and who is on the God bit.
But I think it's allowed you to feel more.
Should we listen to this?
Confident. Confident.
Do you want to give her a nickname? Would that help?
No, because I can't think of anything off the top of my head, and I might give something that gives her away.
But she'll know.
She knows.
who you're talking about.
She knows.
Is that the person I met this evening?
Yes.
It is.
Hello. How you doing?
How you
Stop
doing?
it.
How you doing?
But yeah, I think that's it really as well, isn't it? We've managed to talk so much more about stuff, and obviously it's enhanced our relationship in the bedroom and out of the bedroom, and just our relationship, talking, chatting, and the conversations that we've all had as a four as well have been really useful, and have spurred us on to have further conversations that have been really good. And
and I think what I would like to say in this conversation is that I am aware that some people, for example, my pastor is not on the same page as me with regard to LGBTQ rights. There are a lot of people that disagree with me, as well as a lot of people that agree with me in the Christian community. And I think that this has helped me say, do you know what? This is who I am, and I believe that I am who God created me to be. And I think that there is a lot of hang up in the church about sex. And I'm not entirely sure why that is, why there is so much given to that one small thing. I mean, I get it. It is a big deal having sex with someone. However, I think that the church, with it, sort of the encompassing church, puts a lot of emphasis on it, and I don't think that's helpful. And I am aware of a lot of people who have been very hurt by the church, as in the religious organisation, and have felt really marginalised or felt they're not welcome because they are either gay, lesbians, bisexual, transgender, or because they're actually not married. And to me, and it is my opinion, but that is not okay. I believe that everyone is welcome in the church. I believe that everyone is, whoever they are, that's who they are. And particularly if they believe in God, nothing else. It's just not even a thing. It's something that people obsess about, and actually it's really not the most important thing. And I just for anyone that is listening who has felt that they can't be in an ethical non-monogamy or swinger relationship or a lesbian relationship or a gay relationship or a bisexual or they're transgender or whatever, that is not the God I believe in. I believe that, Jesus said, love yourself, love your neighbour, and I don't see him splitting hairs over who you are having sex with.
Well, surely everyone has a right to be happy.
Yeah.
Ultimately, if you're practicing non-monogamy within the boundaries of your own relationship, then I think that's okay, isn't it? You're not hurting anyone.
I think you take what you want out of. I think for me, with religion, and I think if you follow the exact line and the exact detail, and that makes your life unhappy, then it's clearly not for you.
But also, I mean, with regard to that, there are a couple of sentences in the Bible that are used and are thrown over and over and over again. But actually, how many translations has the Bible had? What audiences was written? What audiences was it written for? How many years ago was it written? It's not continually written. It's not been updated. It was written for a particular audience at a particular time with a particular, reason. And actually, things like homosexuality, it wasn't even a word. And I think actually what we need to do is we could say everything in the Bible is fact, but then actually there are loads of stuff, for example, women preachers, or wearing mixed fibres, or eating shellfish, or there's so much stuff, and but
they seem to have sort of ignored all that stuff.
Right.
But sex seems to somehow just be
exactly. And to me, the message of Jesus Christ is that actually we are all loved, we are all forgiven, and God is this loving being, and that's it. That is literally it. That is the focus. And we can tie ourselves up in sentences about something St. Paul wrote, but do you know what? That is not the overall message I take from the Bible. And I know people listening, some of you will disagree, and I get that, but
it's all right. You won't have to fill the emails. You'll be okay. I'll just send them
do
on
you
to
know what? You can send them on to me, and I shall reply.
So the important thing is, I think you've reconciled your faith and the kind of arguments that you might face from people in the church who may judge you.
Yeah,
for practicing outside of the sacramental kind of vows that you've taken in front of God.
See, that's an interesting question, because am I practicing outside of them? Because am I doing something that is not okay with my partner?
Well, I mean, you tell me, when we first met, one of your first opening gambits was, I need to know how to reconcile my faith with what I'm doing. Yeah. And that's something that means a lot to me, and that's something I need to.
It's the question of adultery. Is the big question, isn't it? And adultery, look at it however you want. But actually, if it's cheating on your partner, then
it's a different matter,
isn't it?
Yeah,
exactly.
Of course it is.
Totally
And,
different
you know,
thing.
it's not as if you're going out of your way to be deceitful and
And
malicious.
that's the difference between ethical and non-ethical
Yeah.
non-monogamy.
Yeah. And I don't love God and Jesus Christ any less than I did before I started this. And I don't feel any less close to them than I did before I started this. And actually, when there was an issue with my pastor and a whole incident with them saying sex outside of marriage was not okay, and by marriage they meant between a man and a woman, that was clarified by them.
I think we were texting about fellatio at the time when it all kicked off.
But actually, do you know what? I've never felt closer to God, because I really felt that God was saying to me, do you know what? Actually, just make sure you spread the message of love. And I know that I'm sat in a room with 3 other people who aren't God botherers. Therefore, they probably all think I'm completely crazy. But God is love. End of.
I think for me, it's ultimately if you take that level of, if you're happy with your life and if you feel that actually this works for you, then who really gives a fuck? And I
think it's very important that you're not hurting anyone else.
No, and I agree with that. And I absolutely
think that if I was hurting someone else, then I think that even if it was good for me, if I was hurting someone else, then that's not okay.
But I think that we all enter into this lifestyle with the view that actually we don't want to hurt anybody else. That, or at least that's our approach.
There's exceptions.
Yeah, of course there are, and I think we've had it.
That's always your hope as you go into this, that you're hopeful that actually what you're doing is going to take into account everyone's facts, opinions, and thoughts, and you don't go into this maliciously with a view to disrupting people's relationships.
No.
Well, if you enter into this with a view that it's going to enhance your relationship, it's going to enhance
something,
and not replace something, and enhance
and
what you
already
have. Good, yeah. If you have a solid foundation there, then it can't be a terrible thing. And I can't, I would struggle to. Clearly, the lifestyle isn't going to be for some people because it's too far out there and it's too much of a push. But for those that can weather that initial piece and crack on with it and then get the good bits, then actually it's a really good piece. And we've certainly found that out of the back of it, that our life has been massively enriched by it. And I find it very hard to think that anyone, if they've gone through it in the right way and they set it up in the right way and they're all okay and no one's being hurt, how could they say it's a bad thing?
I think it's really important that you are only with people who respect you.
Absolutely.
And I think that if you were with someone who didn't respect you for who you are, for what you are, then that would be different. But my experience so far, obviously limited to you lot, is that respect is paramount. And actually I think that again, going with the Christian is actually you are respecting me as a person and I am respecting you as a person, and that's the essential. That's really important, and that's it really.
It's critical, I think.
Yeah,
absolutely
I think so.
critical.
I think you're right. And when you first your opening kind of
I would just like to say that I didn't arrive and go, oh, hi, I'm a Christian, I need to sort this out.
Why do you sound like Alan Partridge?
That was our first thought, actually.
We covered a lot in that first afternoon that we got to know each other. And what struck me was that your faith was very important to you.
Yeah.
And it was not something that you were prepared to compromise on. And it was not something you were prepared to abandon.
Yeah.
Which is fine. And in as much as we are not practicing Christians and we are not religious in any way, but it's not for us to pass judgment on.
I think we're officially Jedi on the census.
Actually, on the census,
some
we are
knobhead
Jedi.
wrote that on her own census, just saying. The early noughties.
Yeah, quite a lot of people wrote that, but mainly they weren't already attached to another face.
Like I say, it's not for us to pass judgment on how you choose to live your lives, your personal lives. I mean, the transient relationships we have outside of your marriage are just that. They're not deep, meaningful kind of insights into your personal lives. If you choose to practice religion in your private life, that's fine. You know, what we do outside of that, consensually, as adults, all of us, we make a judgment that you've actually reconciled your faith before you've kind of taken those steps to play with us.
And have you ever, am I your only religious person that you've...
I think so.
No.
Who?
Oh.
No.
Well, I'm not going to say who, obviously, but I don't recall anyone else.
Well, no, there are other people
really?
that we've played with that we can talk about once we've gone.
really?
Somebody left their phone on.
No, it's my alarm. Sorry.
Is this the I've talked enough about God alarm?
This is my I need to take thyroxine alarm.
Well, that's,
It's a glamorous life, ladies and gentlemen.
it's very sexy. So I think there are people that we've spoken to that have a level of religion to their name. And I think
we've listened to a few podcasts, especially Americans, that have touched on it more. I think the Americans have a slightly different relationship with God than perhaps the Brits, but there's been a few out there that we've picked out to say, actually, this is worth listening
you pointed
to.
me in the direction of Mr. and Mrs.
We've got a thing. They've got
the Joneses.
The Joneses.
And the
that's
spiritual
spirit.
Yeah.
So we've sort of, just because it was early on, useful stuff.
Yeah.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Get in your ears.
Absolutely. And there's lots of resource out there for people who think they can straddle kind of
The thing
both
is, I do
aspects of
think
that
you can
life.
find something. You know, if you want to justify something, you can find something to justify.
Go to Reddit because you can find everything on Reddit.
But
yes.
it was something that I needed. It was useful listening to other people, but it was something I needed to decide myself. And I think for anyone listening to this who may be not sure, you have your own personal relationship with God or Allah or whoever, you know, whatever name you give that person or that higher being, and you need to decide that yourself.
Or give Vanilla Ice a ring. We'll put a number at the end.
Maybe we should all just stop, collaborate, and listen.
Oh dear.
Come on,
Have you been waiting for that?
I've been waiting for that.
Would you say ICE is back with a brand new invention?
Well, in a minute, something is going to grab a hold of you tightly.
I thought you said ISIS. I was like,
ISIS are back with the brand new invention.
Yes, let's not touch that with a bug pole.
Let's do that. Oh, no.
So
the world's going to end now.
well, let's hope not, because we've just recorded a podcast
And
and I
we've
need to
already
edit it and
discussed the
stuff.
whole day of smiting tomorrow, darling.
Yeah, but I've already told you, you're not going to be smited.
I don't
because
mind being
Jesus loves you.
smited.
Jesus, no, it's
Look,
not a thing.
I'm going to
Not gonna
smite the
happen.
shit out of Mrs. H tomorrow.
What you two
I'm
decide
looking
to do in your
forward
own
to being
bedroom
smited.
There's
is
nothing
fine.
wrong with a bit of
But in your
backdoor smiting.
afterlife,
I
you're
sent you
fine.
that picture of Satan with the penis on
Yes,
the
you
trolley.
did.
So,
So if we achieve
Bring on the
nothing else,
smiting.
we've managed to marginalise everything you've said for the last 20 minutes.
I'm looking
so
forward to the hot coals.
thank you very
and the
much,
whipping and
Vanilla Ice.
smiting.
That was honestly, it was very honest and open.
Yes.
And actually, thank you both for joining us today and talking about some of your more private lives and about some of the things. Yeah. Oh, we're going to have the shit out of you very soon. Thank you. No pressure, guys.
I don't really want you to have the shit out of me.
Really.
Well, we had some jalapenos earlier, so you may not have a choice in that.
This has taken an awkward turn, but it's one that we're prepared to ride through. So
Right.
Cunningly, I did a toilet roll in the fridge earlier.
we've
Did you?
known each other well enough now.
yes, exactly. There's nothing to be hidden from us lot. So thank you very much, guys, for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you.
for having
And if anyone's got any questions about any of this sort of stuff that we can't answer, please send it to bedhoppersuck at
Oh my god.
Google
You and your
Mail.
bed hoppers suck.
vanillaice@hotmail.com.
You're going to have to make that a thing now.
I don't think that's the
I
thing.
hope someone else has got that.
Someone else has probably got that. Feel free to send it to our regular
Well,
email
send it
address.
to us and we will
Pass it on to
send
me.
it to the delightful Vanilla
I,
Ice.
I'm going to answer it in my best ability. I'm not going to send it.
You're not going to answer it. You're going to send it to Vanilla Ice.
I'm gonna-
I'll go, oh my gosh, I don't know.
well, between four of us,
We'll figure
we're
it
like
out.
masterminds. We can sort this shit. So
We're like the, what's that program we used to watch?
You're gonna have to narrow
Eggheads.
it
We're
down.
like the eggheads.
the
There's
eggheads.
5 of them.
Yeah.
The eggheads,
You're
really?
Demooey.
We're more like the Beatles.
Fuck off.
I was thinking like Mythbusters or something when you said that.
Brainiac?
Brainiac, yes.
No,
let's not go
it's
there.
got that ass hat. I'm
no,
not going to talk about him again.
Let's not go there.
Right.
So yeah.
Right,
moving
fine.
on.
Yeah, moving on. Thank you very much for joining us this evening, this afternoon, this morning, whenever it was that you were...
Listen to us waffle.
Listen
At 5 a.m. when we checked into this hotel.
Always
Yeah.
bang monkey.
Yeah. All right. Fine. So please, if you're in Sydney, come and see us for our.
We're going
not
to
them,
Australia.
us. We're going to Australia.
We're going to Australia.
It's not all about you guys. Sometimes it's about me,
Totally. Totally about
and
us,
sometimes it's
isn't it?
about her. Come and see us at our
It's always
secret
about me.
spot because we're doing like a meet and greet on the 10th of May. What else are we doing, wife? We're in Perth at some point. There may be some sort of meet and greet there. I don't know.
They're like
Maybe.
proper celebrities, aren't they?
Yeah.
No, thanks.
Well,
They've got a blue tick on Twitter.
Oh yeah.
Look, leave the blue tick alone, all right? Fuck the blue
What's a
tick.
blue tick?
Oh my god! No!
Why did we open
Abort!
this
Escape!
can of
Quit!
You said
Quit!
don't open that can of
I
worms.
said don't open that can of.
the blue tick?
No,
No,
it's
nothing.
all right.
Don't worry.
Mrs H, Mrs H.
Round it up,
How
round it
all
up.
Right.
people on Twitter are
Stop!
celebrities.
Stop! Pull out! Vanilla Ice! Stop! Right, everyone.
Wait,
Mrs
what?
H, do the thing.
Wait, what?
No, do the thing.
Do it.
End it.
Do it.
I have questions.
No.
I know you do.
Later.
Fine, I will ask the questions later. But for now, thank you for hopping into our bed.